good afternoon, and good evening to everyone joining from around the world. Thank you for joining this webinar on Zoho Connect's boards and task module. My name is Aragan, and I will be your presenter today. So in today's fast-paced and interconnected business environment, effective collaboration and task management are crucial for the success of any organization. With teams working remotely or across different departments, it's essential to have a centralized platform that promotes seamless communication, transparent workflow management, and increased productivity. And that's exactly where Zoho Connect comes in. Zoho Connect is a powerful team collaboration platform designed to enhance teamwork, streamline communication, and facilitate efficient task management. It provides a comprehensive set of tools and features to help teams stay organized, track progress, and achieve their goals. Today, we'll be diving into the key module of Zoho Connect, boards and tasks. This module offers intuitive and flexible solutions to manage projects, tasks, and workflows effectively. So whether you are a project manager, team lead, or an individual contributor, understanding how to leverage the boards and task module in Zoho Connect can significantly boost your team's productivity and drive successful outcomes. Let's explore this module in more detail and discover how they can transform the way you collaborate and manage tasks within your organization. A bit of housekeeping pointers. The webinar will be recorded and shared with everyone. The audio is muted for all participants. You can always ask your questions in the Q&A session, Q&A panel, and our experts will be more than happy to answer them. You can also vote for any polls if and when they appear. So the agenda for today is to look at the overview of boards and tasks and demonstrate on how boards and tasks can increase your productivity for your organization. We'll also look at how you can integrate boards and tasks with other applications, both Zoho with an interactive Q&A session at the end. So please stick till the end. So today we'll be looking at a use case where a particular team is facing some issues that are mentioned. So like unable to track progress, inefficient collaboration, missed deadlines, and poor time management. And these are the issues that we'll try to address using Zoho Connect's board and task module. So before we jump into the demonstration of Zoho Connect boards and tasks, we'll look at an overview on what boards and tasks are. So these boards and tasks are designed to simplify your task management, enable visual organization of projects and workflows, and promote efficient teamwork. We do this by offering features like task assignment, due dates, tags, priorities, subtasks, attachments, comments, workload, progress tracking, and a lot more. When we put together all of these features, we get a centralized platform for effective task management, collaboration, and increased productivity. And let's jump right into Zoho Connect's product. So before we jump into Zoho Connect's task management module, I want to give our newcomers, any newcomers, on what Zoho Connect is all about. So Zoho Connect is basically precisely a communication platform, an employee engagement, and a collaboration platform. It offers features like the home module that we are looking at, which is essentially a dashboard of widgets that offers employees a bird's eye view of what is going on in the organization. It also offers features like the company wall, which can be leveraged to share updates with all the members of your company. And when we talk about communication, you can use personal messaging, the chatting option, to communicate with your colleagues and take leverage of channels for group conversations here. And when we talk about collaboration, we have features like the manuals, which is essentially a knowledge base that you can maintain for your company or for individual teams or groups. And you also have a dedicated space named files where you can create, share, and collaborate on these Word documents, presentations, and spreadsheets. And then ultimately, we have Zoho Connect's boards and task module. Zoho Connect offers the boards and tasks module, which enhances collaboration and task management within teams. So in this particular use case that we saw a little bit earlier, we would want to make things easier. We will consider this team to be an HR team. So what are the steps a manager of this HR team can take to increase the productivity? So we will start by creating a new board. So in the tasks module, we have the new board option here. And once you click that, the new board pop out is opened. And here you can simply name the group. So since this is a HR team, I want to name this as HR operations. I think that's pretty good. And then you can add members to your board, or you can also do it at a later point in time. For now, since we are the manager, I'm going to go ahead and create a group that is empty and does not have any members in it. So I have now created the board. And then it has prompted for me to create new sections as well. So in any board, tasks can be neatly categorized into different sections. And in our use case, HR operations, we can categorize, let's say, into three categories, I guess. So the first option can be recruiting, and then the next section can be about onboarding. So let me quickly create these sections, and then training. And I also want to add performance management as well. Yeah. So now, once we have created the boards and the sections, we look at how you can create a task. So by simply clicking on this plus icon, you can create a task. Now, either you can give a task a title, let's say, hire marketing analyst. You can either do this to create the task, or you can click on this blue icon to create this task. And once you have the created task here, now you can go into the task and look at the different options as well. So let's try creating another task from this blue plus icon. So again, let's go ahead and name the same hire marketing analyst. And now we have a couple of options here, right? So you can add some notes to these to this particular task. You can add start date, which is today, obviously, and let's say add the due date in a week. Let's say next Tuesday, 1 week for the due date, and we can go ahead and set a reminder as well at the end of this week and 9 a.m. potentially. Yeah, 10 a.m. Let's go for that. And since we want to hire someone within a week, let's go ahead and say high priority. And we also have the option to add the task. And we have option for repeat task as well, which again, we'll see in just a bit. But for now, you can go ahead and create this task. Where we are creating it in the HR operations board and in the recruiting section of this board. And you can also assign tasks to someone. Let's say, since the first is going to be the responsible user is Michelle Rodriguez, and we will assign it to her. So you can go ahead and create a task. And now you will be able to see things like activities where any changes that is going on in the task, like editing a task, editing the due date, or changing the status of it, changing the priority, everything is going to get logged under the activities. And you also have a comments area, which can be used by the collaborators and the managers for conversing here. So that is a quick overview on how you can create boards and tasks in Zoho Connect. Now, it is safe to assume that, okay, all the tasks that are related to recruiting, onboarding, training will be handled by one or a group of users here. And essentially, whenever we create a new task, it is a little repetitive to add the assignees each time. So to avoid this, you can simply use section actions. So section actions are basically actions that will happen whenever a task is created in this section or is moved from another section. So let's go ahead and see what are the actions that you can do when a task is created or moved to this particular section. So once you click here, so you can go on to the down arrow, actions, and you can see you can add an action where you have options like assign tasks to members, set priority date, move to another board, and so on. In this case, in this case, I'm going to assign it to a particular group of users. So, so just a moment. So we are just associating this board with a particular group, which again, I want to get to in it at the later part of this webinar. But for now, we will go back to the actions. So here, now I want to essentially add the assignees as Catherine. So whenever a new task is created in the recruiting section, you want to add Catherine as the assignee to this task by default. So let's go ahead and do that. And similarly, you can do so for each section here. As a one-time action, you can do this. Let's say add Christine Spalding. So, and similarly, you can add for each action. Now what happens is, so let me quickly add another user here as well. So now when we create a task, hiring a marketing analyst, now before this user, Michelle Rodriguez, starts working on this task, she can now start the timer as well. So in Zoho Connect task, we offer the option to log the time taken to finish a particular task as well. So you can start it, and then you can add some checklists as well. So each for this hiring marketing analyst, we'll have some checklists as well, like scheduling interviews and then onboarding, and we want to say training and KPI indicators. So let's say something like that. So these are the checklists that you can add for each task. So once the Michelle Rodriguez is completed with the particular task, they can check off their checklist and they can stop the timer, assuming the work is done. So you can already see the time is logged here, 44 seconds taken to complete task. And now to simply have this task handed over to the next person, she can simply drag and drop it to the next section. And you can automatically see that Christine Spalding is now the assignee for this particular task, and she can now work on the onboarding aspect of it. So yeah, in these series of actions, now you can see you can have an operating board. You can have an operating board where you can create tasks and automatically assign it to the relevant assignees. And it made the job of the manager a lot easier. So now, now I want to take a situation where we have this task and I want to add, a custom field. So let's say I want to add, we are hiring a new marketing analyst and we want to know which location we are adding this user for. Is it for the US location or the European location or Asia and so on? So since we do not have this, what we can do is we can go to the settings of this particular board as a manager, and you can go to the customization area and you can add a custom field. So you can create a custom field here. And since we are looking at having different options for this field, the location field, you can go ahead and create the drop down. But of course, you can also use text fields, number fields, multi-select drop down, date and time, date, and file. So let's go ahead and choose the drop down field. The field name is going to be location, field type dropdown. Option one is, let's say, US, EU, and I want to add another option as Asia. And you can also add some help text. And this is how the task is going to look like. So you can also check for whether this particular field is going to be mandatory or not. So you can now add this custom field as well. And neatly, you can also show this particular custom field in the cards. Cards meaning this area. So now when I go back to the task, you can add the location as QS. And once you close this, you will be able to see in this card this particular custom field that we have added here. And similarly, due to several reasons, when a company is trying to hire, it may be put on hold. There may be a hiring freeze going on, so it may be put on hold. And for this particular reason, we need to have an on hold status, right? Again, here as default, you do not have this particular status. Once again, you can go to the settings of the board, customization, and you can create a new status here, customize status as well. So you can go ahead and say on hold, and you can create this as well. So you can click save. And now let's say this particular task is going to be put on hold due to whatever reasons it may be. And voila, with just a few clicks of a button, we have created a board section, and we have also looked at how you can customize your board based on the teams or a particular individual's needs. And then next, I want to take some, we will take some situations again and we'll see how best we can take it up a little bit more, push it a little further. So now let's add another task for this particular person. Let's assume we are again hiring a marketing analyst and we want to say KPI discussion. So meaning the task is going to be about discussing the key performance indicators once this person is hired. So now you can clearly identify that this particular task is dependent on the completion of the previous task, which is to hire a new marketing analyst. So in this case, as a manager or even contributors or individual users can go ahead and add add dependencies to these tasks. So task dependency is one of the highlight features of our Ultimate Edition, and you can do so by going to the three-dotted ellipsis, going to the add, you can click on add dependency, and you can say, hey, there is a predecessor task before you start working on the KPI discussion. And you can add this particular task simply by going here, and you want to say, we have done this. Now, whenever whoever is assigned to this task, let's say Bankston, so whenever he comes to this task, he'll see that, okay, there is a predecessor task. And once I click that, this status is on open and I'll need to wait for it to be completed before I can start working on this particular task. So that is task dependency as well. And then I want to take another situation where, as a manager, I want to create a task for a particular individual, which is going to repeat every month, right? On the 25th of every month, I want to add a task to a person about working on a payroll. So let's say we want to create a payroll release, let's say something like that. And essentially, we want to add the start date as the 25th of the next month. And the due date is before the end of that particular month. So we'll add 31st. And you can also go ahead and set up the repeat task here. So once you go to the repeat task, you can say this task is going to repeat monthly, once in every 1 month on the 25th And then when do you want to stop repeating this task? Essentially, you can just say 5 years into the 5 years into the future. And you can also set a reminder as well. So let me just show you here. So you can set reminder on the due date, 1 day before the due date, 2 days, and so on, whenever it is convenient. I would say 1 day before the due date is a pretty reasonable reminder. And you can also remind everyone that is involved in the task or only the person who's creating the task as well. So let's go ahead and say remind everyone. And I want to add it to a particular section. Okay, we do not have a separate section for payroll. Let's just put it in training. And you can go ahead and say, you can go ahead and create tasks. And you can also obviously add a checklist for this particular task as well. So since we created in the training area, you can see that the task is already automatically assigned to Emma Bing. So that is assigned, that is repeat tasks. And then now let's take another situation where the person is hired and you want to assign them a task with some introduction activities. Let's go ahead and say that. So in the training, again, I want to create a task as onboarding checklist. So let's go ahead and name the task as onboarding checklist. And here I'm going to uh, add some checklists as well. So let's say orientation, team bonding, very important. And yeah, let's say team introduction. How about that? Just for the use case. Yeah. So yeah. So now this is going to be a task for the newly joined user. So let's assume instead of one user, we have hired 5 people in this particular week, and we want to assign this particular task to everyone. Now, what you can do is you can set up the start date, due date, and all that, and you can also assign it to, yeah, let's go ahead and say training, and let's assign it to 3 users here. And yeah, you can go ahead and yeah, create the task. So what I'm trying to get at is that this particular onboarding checklist is something that you need to create and assign to the new joinees, all the 5 new joinees. In this case, you can simply create one task and then you can go ahead and say assign copies. So what this essentially will do is whoever you're adding here, this is going to create copies of this task, duplicate this task, and assign it to these users as well. So you can go ahead and say copy and assign. And now once you go back here, let me hit refresh here, and you can see there are 3 duplicates of this task that are created and assigned to these users as well. Very effective and very automated, right? So you can avoid repeating several activities here. And then from a manager's perspective, so this is a very primitive board, right? Meaning it's only in the early stages of development and uh, you do not have a lot of tasks here. So I want to move to this Zilka website, which has been operational for quite some months or even several years, I believe. So when I click on this particular board, you can see there are overwhelming amount of sections and tasks. So this, again, as I mentioned, can be overwhelming for the manager or even for the end user. So in this case, what we offer is a number of views that you can take leverage of to get the information that you're looking for with just few clicks of button. So let's say, for example, as a manager, I want to see all the high priority tasks and who are all assigned to it, what is, and so on. So I will go to the priority view and you can straight away see there are 29 tasks and these are the tasks and people who are assigned to it and then the deadlines as well. How about the workload? How about when you want to see the number of tasks assigned to each user? In this case, you can simply go to the assignee view and you will be able to see these are the tasks that are not assigned. And Alberto Lane has 28 tasks, Anna Green 6, and so on. So these views are very powerful in a way that you can get a lot of information. And when I spoke about time logging here, you can look at the time spent on each task here in this particular task, or you can go ahead and look at the timesheet view for the particular board. So here you will get comprehensive list of the time spent by each user on each task. And you can also export this information. So to avoid a use case where you want to create some task in a section only to a particular group of people, and go ahead and create a section. Okay, let's take this section named task test, and you can go ahead and make this as private. And once you do that, only the users that you are assigned here by default, the person who made this section as private will have visibility, and you can also add additional members, and you have a private area where you can create and assign tasks and manage them here. So yeah. And now I want to talk about how managers can get how productive a particular board has been using a statistic. Yes. So task statistics offers you the the productivity of the particular board in a particular time range. So for example, let's take the Zilko website, and I want to say essentially in the last year. In the last year, in Zilker website board, in the last year, what has happened basically? So you can see there are 29 open tasks, 6 completed tasks, unassigned 12, and 23 overdue tasks. So this can be extremely helpful for the manager to evaluate how your team has performed, or even individual performance as well. Yes, you can export these open task, completed task as an export as a CSV file for analyzing further. And to track the performance of individual users, you can go to the member stats here. So here you will get a nice idea on this board, on this time range, what does the member statistics looks like. So Alberto Lane has 11 assigned tasks, 5 has been completed, 2 checklists are assigned, checklist completed 0. So information like that. And you will also get a tile for your pending tasks, pending checklists, overdue tasks. So with just an overview of this member stats page, you will get a nice idea on how the board has been progressing over months or even years. Now, you may wonder, okay, there is boards, you can create tasks and so on. How about when I want to restrict some users from creating new sections, or even new or creating a new task, or editing a new task, or editing an existing task? So you can do so by going to the permissions here. So you can go to the settings, board settings here, and you can switch over to the permissions tab. And here you can pretty much have a control over what is going on, who can do what in your board. So you can uh, choose who can create tasks. So in this particular use case, so let's assume this is the HR operations board. You can have it as everyone, and who can edit the task. We would want that to be only for the members who created the task and the task assignees. And then who can create sections? I think that is that should be restricted to only the admins, only at least in our use case. And then who can add assignees? So again, we have section automation for that, but still I'm going to go ahead and say member who created the task will add the assignees, and so on. So the permission tab allows you to customize your board and have control over who can do what in your board. And I also want to move to the advanced settings of your board. So initially, when we created this HR operations board, we created it from scratch. But then we have the HR board here. So instead of the HR board, let's take another example where you have a board for testing purposes in for your software development. So in this case, for this once a particular project is over, let's assume this is the testing board. Once the project is over, you want to keep the settings of the boards, right? So like you have set up some section automation, you have some workflows going on, you have some dependencies. So when you want to save these settings for your new board, for your new project, you can go to the board settings, advanced settings, and you can save this board as a template. And once you do that, let's go ahead and say Zilka website, and then some description. And you can also choose what are the information you want to retain as a template from this particular board. And you can also choose who can access this template. Essentially, we want to create template for the users who have the permission to create boards. So let's go ahead and say selected users, or in this case, let's go ahead and say all users and see how it works. So we have now saved this board as a template. And now when you want to create a new board, you can go to default templates. So there are some default templates as well, but essentially you want to go to using a template, and you can choose Zilka website board and click this to create board from your existing board. And 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 similarly, let's go ahead and go to the HR operations board here. And let's go ahead and talk about this hiring marketing analyst task. So essentially, for hiring any new individual into the company, we would need the same set of checklists, same set of same names, and so on. So just like board templates, we can go ahead and say I want to save this task as a template so all users can use this, and with just few clicks of a button, you can avoid repetition and create a task as fast as possible. So you can go ahead and save this template. Again, you have what do you want to name this? Hiring new user. So let's say something like that. And you want to choose what are the information you want to retain from this particular task. And then you can allow all users to use this template. And once you click save, and now when you try to create a new task, you can go hover over to the section, choose from save template, and I want to say hiring new user. And you can see your template is already populated here. So that is both templates and task templates. And I want to wrap up the demonstration by showing you some of the integration options we have. So for starters, let's assume as a manager, you have received an email, and then and there is an action item, and you want to simply create a task from your email. What you can do is you can simply reply to the email that you received, and you can copy this particular email address from the section that you want to add. Let's say you want to add in the recruiting section, you can go to this area, you can copy this, and now you can reply to this email address in this format. So mail subject will be your task title, to or CC address will be the assignee, and the date, month, year is going to be the due date of the task. You can also add hashtags to as task tags that we saw. The body of the email is going to be task description and so on. So you can also add priority in this manner. So leveraging this, you can simply create a task from the email that you received with just few clicks of a button. And one more thing I want to talk about is from the feeds area. So let's say you have you are looking at a new feed post in your company wall. Let's say this particular poll, Paula Sanders has started a poll. How often do you use AI for your work? And now I want to add a task. After seeing this post, I think I want to research more on the AI tools that will benefit our HR team. So in this case, you can simply hover over to the end of your post style, and there is a tick mark that says Add Task, and you can simply click that. You can add the task title, research. Let's go ahead and say research AI tools. Let's go ahead and say that. You can add tasks, the start date, due date, reminder, priority, and you can also see that the URL of the particular post is already added as related conversation in this new task pop-up. And you have some checklists as well. You can add them if you want, and you can add the relevant details, and you can simply add this task. So let's go ahead and say you want to add it to a board, HR operations, and let's say performance management, just for seeing how it works. And we want to essentially add a due date before we create a task, and you go ahead and hit create. And now when you move to the HR operations board, you can see that the task is created from the post with just the click of button. So these are some nice way to create tasks from different areas very efficiently. And now I want to talk about how Zoho Connect offers its users a simple way to look at tasks from different modules, different task management products at one place. So you can visit the integrations page and you will be able to see we have integrations with Asana project management and Office 365 calendar as well. Our Office 365 tasks, I mean, and with some of our Zoho products as well. Zoho CRM tasks, desk tasks, and project tasks, and so on. So what this essentially allows you to do is that you can enable these integrations if you use tasks in these products as well, and you can have a unified view of all your tasks in one place, and that will be in your Zoho Connect. Yeah, with that, I would like to wrap up the demonstration of how boards and tasks can significantly boost your productivity. And I would like to wrap the session by talking about customers as well. So we just wanted to show you about our biggest customers. So Byju's, Toyota, NHS England, Max Healthcare, Heritage Foods, and so on. And even our Toyota customer has given us their testimonial saying that Zoho Connect is a tremendous tool to reach out to our employees quickly, clearly, safely, for any company and team communication. So what I want to talk about when we talk about Toyota is that they have been using Zoho Connect very efficiently, and they are pioneers in how they have used Zoho Connect for digital transformation. And we also have from Market Launcher as well, founder and CEO, Zoho Connect has enabled our team and clients to collaborate in a much more seamless way. And yeah, so these are our biggest customers and their testimonials. And I just want to talk about some pricing details as well. So we have a starter edition that is intended for smaller organizations with, at $10 per month, up to 25 users. And we have enterprise version for medium to large enterprises, designed to connect the distributed workforce at scale at $1 per user per month. And it starts at 25 users. And we have the ultimate edition, which is for larger organizations. So that would be at $3 per user per month, and it starts at 25 users. Thank you so much for such a great product in Zoho Connect, and thank you all for this webinar.